All right, welcome Braves fans back to the 9521 Atlanta Baseball Podcast. I'm Jason. I got my guy here with me, Mike, and we're going to review the week that was in Braves baseball, another successful week for our Bravos, and take a little look ahead at what's coming next. And we're going to kick it off this week with trivia. So Mike asked a great question last week, and we'll have a new one this week. But first, Mike, do you want to reread last week's question and give us the answer?
Sure. So last week it was Matt Olson holds the record for the most home runs for the Braves in April with 8 in 2023. Excuse me. Ronald Acuna is second with 7, also in 2023. And then there's a 3-way tie for third with 6. Chipper Jones did it in 2008. Freddie Freeman did it in 2019. And this guy did it in 2005. Can you name him?
A good question. I did not get it on the first try. I think I got it on the second try.
You did.
What was
you
the
got
answer?
it off the air. You got it. And the correct answer was brand new Hall of Famer Andrew Jones.
Andrew Jones. Yeah, I should have gotten that one. I'm a little ashamed of myself that I didn't. That's a great question. Well done. So, guys, send in your answers. We didn't have an answer. I know we're building an audience, but send it in, and we'll get you some kind of little prize. So, Mike, you got a new one for us this week, right?
You do. Excuse me, Ken. Getting over a cold.
Fire away. Understood. Fire away.
So the Braves have won 4 World Series, and they're the only team to have won a World Series in 3 different cities. Can you name the four ballparks that they won their home games in their 4 World Series championships?
That's a good one. That's a really good one. And I just remembered that I have a banner for that. So in case anyone wants to see it. Yeah, that's a good question. So that's going way back. Of course, the Braves' first title was in 1914, I believe, in Boston. And then we had the Milwaukee and, of course, Atlanta. So great question. Send us your answers in whatever form you wish. At the end, I will put up our email address, and you can also send it to us on Twitter or X and on TikTok or wherever you can find us on social media. Send us the answer, and we'll be or the answers in this case, and we'll hook you up with some Braves merch, some baseball cards, something. Great question there, Mike. Got people thinking. It's funny because the things I heard, and I put it on a post today, was so this year's Braves have the best 35-game start in franchise history in the modern era, which is 1900 forward. The greatest start ever was in 1892 by the Boston Bean Eaters. You got to love that name. I believe they were 25-9-1. They had a tie, which keeps them as the best overall record, which is kind of crazy. So good stuff there, Mike. Good stuff. All right. So, and again, if you missed it, just in case, last week's answer was Andrew Jones. So let's jump in, Mike. Another extremely successful week for our Braves as they had a 3-game set with the Detroit Tigers and then a 3-game set at Colorado as they began a 9-game road trip. And, you know, going into that 3-game series with the Tigers, we looked at the pitching matchups, and it looked really tough with Casey Mize, Tarek Skubal, and Framber Valdez going for the Tigers. But the Braves answered the bell, and if not for a few things happening in that last game on Thursday during the day, they very well could have swept this series, Mike. So that was a tough one to get through, and I'm glad it was at home. I think that helped too. But before we jump into each game, just your overall impressions of the Detroit Tigers series. And we got some bad news today for Detroit. Tarek Skubal is going to be out for quite a while with some of those darned loose bodies that our Braves pitchers have dealt with a little bit. Your thoughts on the Tigers?
Yeah, but what's up with the loose bodies? Like, I mean, really, like I usually hear there's something going on in their elbow or something like that, but I've never heard until this year loose bodies in their elbow.
It is a new term, I feel like, but it seems to be. And the bad news here for both is that what Schwellenbach had too. I think it was.
I think him and Waldrop, wasn't it?
Yeah, and sometimes that means it's something else going on there. So. Yeah, but I feel bad for the Tigers fans. I feel bad for Scooble, the Tigers. I think they can hang in there. We're not talking Tigers baseball here, but I think they can hang in there just because that division is not super strong. But yeah, your thoughts on the series though, Mike, and how the Braves handled those pitchers.
I mean, there was a lot of close games. It was 3-run win, and then 1-1 win, and then 3-run loss. I mean, we played everything. It was tight games no matter what. Especially the middle one there. That was very tight, going all the way up into the late innings there.
About as tight as you can get.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, I think everyone they played well. We played well. We just came out ahead.
Yeah, good close games, two good teams. I think the Tigers are better than their record. I mean, they're kind of hanging around 500 right now. I still think even with the Scooble injury, and Casey Mize got hurt in game 1 of that series. Still think they can hang in there. They hit better than I think people think. We talked about that going into the series, that they're actually hitting the ball better than we thought. But the Braves pitchers did pretty well too in this series. So let's get to it. First game of the series, Braves won this game 5-2. And I thought it was important to get off to that good start. Martin Perez, he just gets the job done. We talked about this last time. You keep waiting for him to have a terrible start. Now, he kind of struggled and managed his way through 5 innings, but that's what they expect Perez to do. They really don't expect him to go out there and be Chris Sale. He just managed. And I even heard, he walked 4 batters, Mike, and I heard one of our other Braves podcasts talk about some of those walks, 3 of them at least, he may have kind of not walked them on purpose, but he was being very careful how he pitched to those batters because he knew those batters had a good history against him. And he was kind of managing his way around them. So even those walks may not have been as bad as it appeared. Bottom line, the guy went 5 innings, gave up 2 hits and 0 earned runs. I don't think we can ask much more than that from Martin Perez.
No, I can't complain at all. The fact that he gave up no runs, that's 2 hits is even better. But like the fact that he gave up no runs, I'll take that out of him, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, again, we don't expect him to be Chris Sale. We just need him to be okay, and he was, because the offense is playing very well, obviously. So good news in this one. Acuna had a double, and we'll talk about Ronnie here shortly and what happened over the weekend. Ronnie had an RBI double. Ozzie continues to just hit the ball well to start the season. A 2-run homer to back up Perez to start. And I thought it was notable to put Fuentes in there. 2 innings pitched, no hits, struck out 1. He's still going to get his shot to be a starter, Mike, but the more you watch this kid, you like what you see when he comes in for 2 or 3 innings and he's bringing the heat. He's a great bridge between the starter and then the back end of that bullpen with Suarez and Iglesias coming back soon. I really like Didier in that position, and even if he does go back to starting, when you get to the postseason, usually that 4th and 5th starter, they become bullpen pieces. Can you imagine in the postseason if we have a lead after 5 or 6 and you bring in Fuentes for the 6th and 7th, and then you got Suarez for the 8th and Iggy for the 9th. I mean, we're dreaming right now. It's only May, but that sounds really good to me. Yeah,
no, exactly. And like treat him kind of like Strider with Strider's rookie season. Came out of the bullpen for a little while. I mean, that's fine. I mean, he got his feet underneath him. And didn't Free do the same thing when he came up? I want to say he did.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, let them.
He did. That's a great call. He did. Freed. There we go. Freed did do that. That's a great recall by you. Yes, he did. And I often think about what Strider might have been just as a closer when he was dealing the heat that he had. So yeah, but good start to the series. Again, Casey Mize got hurt early in that. The Braves get 5 runs on the board and take game 1. Game 2. That was a fun game at the end. So the Braves come out with a 4-3 victory, but that doesn't remotely tell the story of this game. Ozzie Albies had an early, I think it was first inning 2-run homer again, back-to-back days. Braves had an early lead, and they kind of kept that lead most of the game. I believe it was the 7th and 8th innings. The Tigers mounted a rally, and then Olsen comes up in the 9th. Ozzie once again had gotten on base, and Olsen comes up and didn't waste a lot of time. And Parks won in the seats, and are actually out in the bullpen. And the Braves walked off with a 4-3 win in Game 2, backing up J.R. Ritchie, who was not great. He wasn't terrible. 5 1/3, 5 hits, couple of earned runs. He walked 4, and the walks continue to be something that I feel like Braves pitchers are struggling with a bit. But he struck out 4, and look, the kid got through 5 1/3, kept them in the game, kept the offense in it, and they came through at the end.
Yeah, with the Olsen homer, I just remember, like, I wasn't sure it was going to clear the fence. It looked like it might have been a little bit lower, and it just kept carrying and got over. So I was like, I'll take it. As soon as I saw the I think you said this to me too, but as soon as I saw the bullpen guys raising their arms, I'm like, okay, that's gone. But I wasn't sure. I'm like, my thought was at least we were tied because Ozzie had walked and he took off on that pitch. So he was, if that got down, he was scoring anyway. So it would have been at least tied. But yeah, I wasn't expecting it to go out. But I'll take it. It's a homer.
Yeah, it looked like more of a line drive, so I thought it may not have the height, but I knew it was a gapper, and at the very least we had tied the game. And then, like you said, I saw the same thing. The bullpen arms went up. They were celebrating. They obviously had a better look at it than we did. And, pandemonium ensued, and the Braves had once again won a series, and they still hadn't lost one at this point. So they had assured themselves another series win with one more game to go, a day game on Thursday for Detroit and Atlanta, a getaway game. And my wife and I went to that game, and of course it was the only game of the series the Braves lost. But this one it looked like the Braves were headed for a sweep. They got an early lead, and it was looking pretty good. And then we get to the late innings and the bullpen. And it's the guys in the bullpen, Mike, that when you see that they're coming in, you're like, oh boy. And the shame of it is Elder had another great start. Elder, 6 innings, 1 earned. He did walk 3. He struck out 5. He just did what Elder does. He got contact. He got outs. Eli White and Dubon had RBIs, so you're getting production from the bottom of the order. I didn't put anything on here about him. I continued to watch our guy Austin Riley just struggle. And I know he had a home run over the weekend. He got a little bit better. Man, he takes some really horrible at-bats. He had maybe some of his worst during this game, but so the bullpen comes in, and Piamps falls apart. He gives up a couple hits and a walk. In between, Bummer came in and kind of – he did put out the fire. He gave up, I think, 1 run that was credited to Piamps. And then Suarez came in and just another meltdown, Mike. And I know a lot of people, we see it on social media. They go crazy. Why is Walt putting these guys in? Why are they in the game? You got to use your pitch. Guys, you can't bring in the same 3 guys every game. They can't pitch. Some of them really aren't good pitching back-to-back days. Some of them, if they pitch more than a certain number of pitches, aren't good the next day. We didn't have, Iglesias is out. I believe Dylan Lee was not available during this game. You go with what you have and who's on the roster, and unfortunately, that's all we had for this game, and it got away from us. Next day, both those guys were DFA'd, by the way. So – everybody kind of got their wish. But your thoughts, Mike, on the series finale?
Yeah, it was. Elder did pitch well to start off the game, but yeah, the bullpen and Piamps and Suarez just crap the bed, basically. I was trying to think of a nice way to put it, but they crap the bed. So and not shocking that they got DFA'd right afterwards.
No, I think we all pretty much saw that coming. I believe the Mariners actually picked up Suarez off waivers, so we could actually see him against us the next 3 days. And then Piamps cleared waivers and is actually back in Gwinnett, if I'm not mistaken. We may actually see him again, Mike. So we'll see what happens there. Piamps has an 8.22 ERA. Thanks again to our guy, Nicholas Eck, for sending me some stats. He's keeping up with these stats for us. Big help for us. So, Piamps 0-2 with an 8.22 ERA. He's walked 4 batters in 7 2/3 innings. He's given up 7 earned runs. Pretty inexcusable. 9 hits, just not good. We're not going to dwell on the negative. I never like to do that. I didn't for that last season. But Aaron Bummer, he did kind of squeeze his way out of that mess, Mike, but he continues to just every time he comes in the game, he gives up runs. He's got a 5.56 ERA, 13 hits, and 11 1/3 innings. Right. I know why Bummer's still on the team. I put this on Twitter. I said, why is Bummer still on this team? And somebody answered. I already knew the answer, but they said, I got 9.5 million reasons. And that's it. It's his contract. That's why Bummer's still on this team, but he cannot get outs consistently. I don't know. We've got plenty of season left for the Braves to figure out the middle part of this bullpen. But, again, we're going to need some more reliability. And I think Fuentes might be an answer. If Strider – we'll talk about him when we get to the Colorado series – if Strider can kind of rediscover himself and we can kind of count on Grant Holmes to be okay, Elder keeps doing what he's doing, Sale does what he's doing, I would almost rather see Fuentes in that bullpen in that role where he can come in the middle innings and keep things where they're at. Because right now I don't trust anybody outside of Suarez, Iglesias, Kenley. Kenley's been great, Dylan Lee, and Fuentes. Who else? That's about it, right?
Yeah, no, I believe I texted you with, Bummer. Of course it's Bummer. I swear every time he comes in, some of his stats don't look that bad, but
yeah,
it's just a feeling. Every time I see him take the mound, I'm like, we're going to give up runs here. He's not, you're correct. The only reason he's on the team is the contract, but yeah. I wish we could DFA him. I really wish we could.
Yeah, and I think that if he continues to do what he's doing, that's going to happen. So, I've heard a lot of people say, look, his velocity's down, his movement is down. He doesn't have the break on his pitches he used to. We'll see. Right now, we need lefties, though. We need lefty relievers. So, I think we're kind of stuck with him for now. But the good news is, overall, the pitching has been really good. Bullpen and starting pitching. Starting pitching, we couldn't ask for more. And J.R. Ritchie's given us consistency. Hopefully we'll continue to see that. He's pitching tonight, so as we record this against the Mariners, so we'll see how he does in start number 3. So the Braves win the series with the Tigers and hit the road for the start of a 9-game set starting in Colorado, where, of course, we know crazy things can happen, and crazy things happen, Mike, especially in game 1. The Braves trailed 6-0 after 2 innings, and it was not looking good. Grant Holmes, complete kind of first inning meltdown. Wasn't sure he was going to get out of the first inning. I will give him kudos for ending up. He ended up going 5 innings and shutting it down after that terrible first inning where he gave up 5. Your thoughts on that, Mike? Kind of Grant Holmes, this start is Colorado. Do we give him some leeway because of that?
I mean, we need the start. We need him to be a starter right now until Schwellenbach and or Waltrip get back. And I think Schwelly's supposed to be the first one back out of the 2. So, yeah, I mean, we're going to have to, unfortunately. But he's probably the first one back into the pen once someone comes back from injury. I remember at the beginning of this game going, down 6-0. That sucks. And we just chipped away and pulled it out. I was like, wow, I did not expect us to score 8 unanswered.
And with Coors Field, there was a part of me even after 6-0 where I was like, because I saw the score. My wife and I were in Pittsburgh. We were checking out PNC Park. So I'm following the score on my phone. And I'm like, you know what? This game's not necessarily over. This is Coors Field, and we can hit. We know we can hit. So I thought there was a chance, but it was still super exciting to watch the comeback. Actually, just to make sure, Waldrop, I think, is the first one that's going to come back. I think Schwelly still has there's still a timeline there that even, unfortunately, could stretch deep into the second half. So we'll see. But I mean, you go back to what we were talking about with Fuentes, Mike. If you get a situation where you got Holmes in that bullpen with Fuentes, you got 2 guys that can come in and be dominant for 2 innings. I mean, notwithstanding this last start from Holmes, he's usually pretty good the first time through an order. So he can come in and give you an inning or 2, and Fuentes gives you an inning or 2. That's a great bridge for that bullpen. I did read some things about pitching at Coors Field. We all know about the air and the ball traveling. I also read where it can be difficult for pitchers, that it affects the break on their ball. And Holmes apparently talked about that, not really being able to see the break that he usually gets. And the same thing with Strider. We'll get to him in just a minute. But, like, I'm not saying we throw these starts out for them. I mean, Chris Sale was still Chris Sale regardless, but he's kind of special. I'm not saying we completely throw out what we saw from Holmes and Strider, but I do want to see them on their next start, not at Coors Field, and just kind of see what happens. So, but yeah, this game, the story of this game was the comeback. I mean, 6-0 after 2. Olson got him on the board, hitting his 10th home run. That was in the 4th inning. And then the big blow before the big blow was Dubon's 3-run triple in the 8th. Just another huge hit from Dubon. I mean, him and Dominic Smith earlier and Michael Harris recently, they're getting incredible production from the bottom of the order. And we talked about that in the preseason, Mike, how important it was for them to set up the top of the order. Well, really, the top of the order is setting it up for the bottom of the order lately.
Yeah, no, it's been, it seems like, except for Riley, everyone seems to be, if not on fire, but close to on fire. Like, yeah. Baldwin's still hitting the ball well. Ozzie, but both of them are like fighting for most amount of hits in the majors right now. Olson's hitting everything out, it feels like. The only one who doesn't seem to be clicking is Riley.
Yeah, Riley's in a mess. We saw some signs, but again, you don't know what was Coors Field and what was Riley getting better. He had a home run. He had a big double that kind of he hit it hard. It banged off the base. It was in a big situation. I think we had the bases loaded at that point, maybe with 2 outs. He had a hit. Like I said, I think it was 102 mile per hour exit velocity. He hit the bag at third, bounced away, and actually got a run out of that. So good to see him hitting the ball hard. He's still taking some really bad at bats. So we'll see. Traditionally, May is the month where Riley really picks it up. So hopefully that's coming. So, yeah, then we get to the 9th after Riley had a sac fly, and kudos to Riley again for making contact in that situation. He got that run home to tie it in the 8th. And then Michael Harris, I mean, what can you say about that guy? I just wish we could get that quad, settled so he can get back in center field. We need him out there. And right now there's this kind of a logjam. They brought Sean Murphy back off the DL today, and so he's in the starting lineup tonight in Game 1 versus the Mariners. You got Baldwin DHing. And even though we're facing a righty, we don't have Dominic Smith or Michael Harris in the lineup. So kind of just a weird situation for the Braves right now. But Harris gets the big blow, the 2-run homer on the top of the 9th. Suarez closes it out, and the Braves come from behind and just clinched a big win for them, Mike. I mean, how exciting was that? I was watching it. We were back at our hotel by that point. I couldn't get it on my phone to watch, but I was watching the app. And me and the wife celebrated. We probably scared the people next door to us in the hotel because we were screaming. So your thoughts overall, Mike, on that game?
No, it was damn good. I couldn't believe that we came back from all the way down from that. So it was great. Loved it.
Yeah, and I wanted to put this up here because kudos. We do a lot of complaining about the bullpen, but 4 innings pitched, only 1 hit, 0 earned after Holmes left. And that's no small feat at Coors Field. So correct. Kudos to the bullpen for getting the job done and giving the offense a chance. So we move on to the Saturday game, and this one was a little less stressful. The Braves kept scoring and adding on for a 9-1 win to clinch yet another series win for the Braves. Baldwin continues to do Baldwin things, 3 for 4, a homer, 4 RBI. Riley had the home run and a couple of RBI. Olson hits number 11, and then Chris Sale was Chris Sale. Coors Field or not, Chris Sale just continues to do things that amaze me. 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned, 11 strikeouts for Sale. As we get into this is beginning of May, we're at the end of April. Mike, who is the Braves MVP right now? Is it Baldwin? Is it Olson? Is it Sale? Like, so many people are playing well. I would have a hard time choosing between Matt Olson and Drake Baldwin.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to. It's really a toss-up. It's 50-50. You could even really throw Sale in there too, because I mean, he's keeping that pitching staff afloat too. So, I mean, if you make me pick one, I'll pick Sale just because he's helping that pitching staff just stay level.
I think people underestimate or don't think about how important it is to have that stopper that guy that my wife is texting me about the game right now. I apologize for the dings in the background. She's very upset with Sean Murphy. Apparently, he challenged a couple pitches that didn't go well, but he's getting used to that. He's just coming back. So, yeah, look, Chris Sale is that stopper when you need a great start. You know, he had the one rough outing, and other than that, he's been money, right? So. Yeah. I think people forget that. That's why I thought it was so big when Zach Wheeler came back for the Phillies. The Phillies needed that. Chris Sanchez is great, but Wheeler's that guy. You know, he's that guy that he's on the mound. You're like, he's going to get us a win 9 times out of 10. So another big game for Sale, and that took us to game 3. So the Braves going for a sweep, and this was kind of a crazy game, a little bit of back and forth. Felt like one of those typical Coors Field games where you didn't feel like any lead was safe, and I'm thankful that the Braves kept adding on. Jonah Heim had his best offensive game as a Brave, and that's ironic. We'll get to that in a minute. He went 2 for 4 with a home run, 5 RBI. Mateo had a home run, kind of a line drive deal. Olsen keeps doing Olsen things, 2 for 4 with a double. But the main thing in this game, Mike, was the return of Spencer Strider, so we'll kind of spend our time mostly there. It was a little bbit ugly. I was listening to it on the radio. I was getting very frustrated because he was throwing a lot of balls. He was getting behind almost every batter, 2-0, 3-0. He had at least 2 4-pitch walks, maybe 3. And that just tells you that the command is not there when you have those. He ended up going 3 1/3. He gave up 4 hits. He did strike out 6. He did show apparently some good some break, although, again, it didn't seem to be the break we were seeing in the minors, so you can maybe attribute that to Coors Field. The velo was up and down. I think he topped out at maybe 95.5, 96. And again, that's a little lower than what he was popping in the minor leagues. He lived a little bit. I know he gave up 1 big hit that was in the 92, 93 range, a fastball. He would get behind in the count, Mike, and then he would have to throw a fastball. And when he was trying to locate the fastball, the velo would go down. And those were the pitches that were generally getting hit. So I think they're correctable things. I think some of it was typical being back first start. I mean, we saw Zach Wheeler walk 3 in his return against the Braves last week. And I think some of it might have been Coors Field. So I'm really anxious to see his next start and maybe the start after that as he eases back into that. Did you get to watch the game, or have you seen – because I really haven't seen the highlights. I listened to it, so I haven't seen the break he had on the ball or anything like that.
I picked it up actually just as he was getting pulled. So I didn't get to see any of that. But from what it sounds like from what you were saying, to me it sounds a lot like it's Coors. Because when it comes to the breaking stuff, it doesn't break as much. I remember watching it was from spring training. It was Kinley. It was him and Ben Ingram. They're driving around in a car and they're talking about it. And he was actually talking about the difference with Coors because he pitched in Colorado. And so he's like, you had to have basically two different game plans for one when you're playing at home in Coors and then other places because of the spin is completely different. So like you said, the velo being down and the not getting the spin that you're expecting, that definitely could be Coors. I'm not using that as completely as an excuse for him, but it could definitely be that. So if he pitches a whole lot better when he's either at home or someplace else, at least not in Coors Field, then it probably was that. But yeah, also it could be the first game back to, like, he's just kind of getting used to it.
Yeah, for sure. And just as an illustration here, and again, these stats from Nick are great. I'm looking at the comparison, Mike, between the Detroit series and the Colorado series. So just some numbers here. This speaks, I think, both to Coors Field, that effect it has, and also the difference, obviously, in the pitching staffs. Detroit's pitching staff is obviously a notch above Colorado's. But so the Detroit series, Mike, team batting average for that series was 242. Team batting average for Atlanta for the Colorado series, 327. Detroit series, the Braves hit 3 homers over the 3 games. Colorado, they hit 7 over the 3 games. Detroit series, Braves had 11 RBI. Colorado, they had 28. They had 23 hits in a 3-game set with Detroit, 35 with Colorado. The Braves walked only 6 times versus Detroit and struck out 28. They walked 14 and struck out 22. against Colorado. So, and then runs scored, they scored 26 runs in 3 games against Colorado and only 11 against the Tigers. Now, again, some of that is simply the Tigers are better pitching than Colorado. But I think Coors Field has to get a little bit of credit for that too. So if it affects Colorado's pitching, it obviously affects Braves pitching. So again, I'm not trying to defend Strider. I'm not trying to look at things through rose-colored glasses. I do want to see his next start in a normal baseball park, probably Dodger Stadium, it looks like. And Grant Holmes too. I want to see Grant's next start. Can he rediscover some things and get out of the first inning a little bit better? We won't really know until we see it. I just have a feeling Coors Field did have some effect here.
Yeah, no, I definitely think you're correct on that. I think it's definitely more of a Coors Field effect than anything else. And to piggyback on one of your comments there, yeah, we don't look through rose-colored glasses. We try to give you the facts. We don't crap on them, too much, and we're not homers completely. Right. So we want to keep it kind of 50-50.
Yeah, if anything, we're probably going to be harder on them than they deserve to be.
Probably.
Yeah, so I don't think you got to worry about us with rose-colored glasses. But, yeah, I do think that things will get better for both of them in their next start. So we'll just have to wait and see. So the Braves, another successful series. They sweep the Rockies. They take 2 of 3 from Detroit. 25-10, as I mentioned earlier, their best 35-game start in modern-day franchise history. They are, I think they had an 8.5-game lead at this point in the division. Right now it's 9 up to the minute over Washington, who would have imagined, and the Marlins, and now 10 over the Phillies, who are surging a little bit. They've righted the ship. They've won 7 out of the last 10. The Mets have, well, we won't even get there. The Phillies are the team I think we need to keep an eye on, but we still have a 10-game lead on the Phillies as we head to the second leg of this West Coast road trip in Seattle, and another team that pitches the ball well. So we come off the Detroit series, then we go to Colorado, and now we're back against a team that can really pitch. And just some quick thoughts, Mike, on the Mariners. Anything about them that stands out for you?
I mean, normally they're supposed to be really, really good pitching, but I haven't really paid much attention to Seattle so far this season. I know they're not where they should. I feel like they should be. They should be a lot better than they are. They're 3 games under 500. Yeah, I mean, I felt like they probably. I remember in our projection show on Rounding Third, I said they were going to win the AL, so they were going to be in the World Series against the Dodgers. But I mean, teams get off to a slow start. You never know, and it's. I also did not think that the A's would be as good as they are right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of surprises both directions so far. And certainly the Phillies start, but me and you talked about before we started recording, 9 of the Phillies' losses are against the Braves and the Cubs. So, if they played different teams, I feel like, because I think they're 3 games over 500 against everybody else. So the Phillies are going to get back in this thing. The Braves, to me, still look like the better team. I mean, obviously we beat them 5 out of 6. It's easy to say that. But, where we're at on May the 4th is not necessarily where we'll be on September 24th, right? So we just got to keep grinding, keep watching this thing. And the Braves, I think I have more faith than Alex Anthopoulos than I did before. And we may talk about this on the next episode, but he did a really good interview with a radio station in Atlanta where I thought he kind of answered some of the questions we've all been asking about spending money and why we didn't sign a starting pitcher and this and that. And he gave really good answers. I thought it was the first time in a while that he really answered the questions and didn't dodge the questions. And so I have a little more faith now that as we go through this season, he's going to find ways to shore up that bullpen, depending on what we haven't gotten to yet, the bad news of the weekend, Ronald Acuna, depending on how long that lasts, does he do something else there? I don't think we really need to. The depth that we have with Ha-Seong Kim coming back, Dubon, Mateo, Dominic Smith, I mean, the depth is there, and that's a credit to AA as well. So, real quick, I know everybody knows this by now, so we're not announcing news. Ronald Acuna Jr. Pulled a hammy in that last game, or was it was Saturday's game, I believe it was. Yeah. And he was, it looked really bad. Honestly, I thought he's probably torn something really badly. it seems like the news was about as good as it could get. It's a grade 1 strain, which is the least severe and typically the least amount of time missed. Now, they put him on the 10-day IL, and immediately a lot of Braves fans were like super excited and relieved. Oh, it's only 10 days. That does not mean, guys, he's only going to be out 10 days. They can extend that IL. I hope not, but hamstrings they're very fickle. They can last. They can last longer than you think. They can be hard to get back where you need to be. So don't be shocked if he's not back exactly in 10 days. Although I will say this too, Mike. Yesterday, I thought it was an encouraging sign that, I don't know if you saw this, but Acuna was in the dugout playing a joke on his buddy Ozzie, pouring, I believe it was dirt or sunflower seeds into Ozzie's glove. Seemed kind of lighthearted. Maybe that's just reading too much, but if he was really upset about being out a long time, I kind of feel like, that's just me reading into something, but I kind of took that as a good sign. Plus, it was fun.
That's just the two of them. That's why we said this in the off season.
Yeah.
I love the two of them together. I love the camaraderie and the joking that they do. So that's just perfect. Yeah, I think it was back to back innings. It was sunflower seeds in like the 6th and I think the dirt in the 7th or something like that. It was just being stupid and funny.
Yeah, and again, that may just me be reading into it, but I'm hoping this is more of a precautionary thing, and he will be back in 10 days or less or more. I mean, he can't be less, but not too many more than that. So we need Ronald in there. Look, I think Ronald may have just been starting to hit his stride. He struggled a lot like Riley early, but he's been getting on base. He's gotten on base. He's stolen some bases. He had a double the other day. I think he was starting to kind of come out of it, so it was kind of bad timing. And hopefully they get him back. He continues to be the spark plug at the top of that lineup. Tonight, actually, Drake Baldwin is at the top of the lineup leading off. And then yesterday, I believe they had Dubon up there. So they'll probably mix and match a little bit based on the pitching matchup until they figure out what's going on with Ronnie. So I'm going to reshare our trivia question here in a minute, Mike, and the email address that people can send the answers to. But did you have any final thoughts on where the Braves are at right now? It's hard to find anything negative right now at 25-10 and basically a 10-game lead in the division.
Yeah, no, we can't really complain at all because the start of the season we were like, we could be crap again. But 25-10, best record in the majors. There's zero to complain about here.
Yeah, look, the next time we're together, we'll be reviewing. We're not going to spend a ton of time on it, but the Dodgers in LA, 3 games. And here's why I don't want to harp too much on that, because everybody's going to say it's a litmus test for both teams. And at the end of the day, when we get to October, if those teams are playing each other in October, this series in early May doesn't mean anything. Mm-hmm. It may be a great litmus test of where the two teams are right now, but if the Braves go in there and get swept, do I think the season's over and they have no shot at the World Series? No. If the Braves go in there and sweep the Dodgers, do I think the Braves suddenly are magically going to take out the Dodgers in October if they meet again? No, we don't know, right? So it's going to be great baseball. It's going to be fun to watch. Neither team's at full strength, obviously, but it's still going to be fun to watch. I hope the Braves can go in there and at least get 2 out of those 3. But I'm not going to put all my eggs in that basket and think that this is the determining factor of how good the Braves are. They're a good baseball team, regardless of who they've played. And I think they'll prove that in the next few days. They come out of these 6 games against Seattle and LA 4-2. That's a 7-2 road trip. Even 3-3, I'll be okay with that.
Yeah, no, same here exactly. And especially with the Dodgers, they have like a 17-man rotation. We probably won't even see the same pitchers in October that we see now. So I mean, it really, what does it matter? Like, I mean, it doesn't. It's early May. Well, I'll take the wins, but it's really not that big of a deal.
It's a great point. It's a great point, Mike, about the pitching. And I think you can even extend that to, when you play a certain team during the season, especially when it's not a division team, so you only see them once, maybe twice. A lot of how that series comes out depends on who the starting pitchers happen to be for that game, for that series, and what bullpen arms are available. If the Braves had their regular bullpen arms available, they probably sweep the Tigers, So you just don't know. And the Braves should have, I believe, it's set up for Sale, Elder, or Sale, Strider, and who's our third pitcher for that weekend series? I just went blank. Who pitched Saturday this week? Was it Elder? They've got it set up to have three of their best pitchers. I just went blank. I had it in my head.
I think Elder, yeah.
Yeah. So they've got some good pitching matchups. But again, if the Braves lose 2 out of 3 there, I'm not going to go into panic mode. We're going to lose a series at some point, guys. And that might be the one. Might be Seattle. We don't know. All right, let's repeat the trivia question, and we'll get out of here on that. So once again, this week's question, the Braves have won 4 World Series titles in 3 different cities, the only team to do that, and in 4 different ballparks. Can you name the home ballparks? So not the ballpark they clinched those series in, but where were they playing their home games for those World Series when they won each of them? Send your answers to BravesWin9577 at Gmail. And we will, again, I've got plenty of Braves baseball cards. I got some really good ones too, Mike. I don't mind sharing them. I got Acuña's and Michael Harris and Didier and all kind of good cards. So send us your answers, and we'll reward the first person to get those answers correct. So another week has gone by, another successful week. Boy, this is a lot more fun to do than it was last year this time, Mike. I was really grinding through the podcast last year this time. So having a lot of fun. Appreciate you, Mike, for jumping on. And we'll be back next week to talk about the Mariners and the Dodgers series. Hopefully our Braves are still rolling by then, Mike.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, exactly. I will take the fact that it's much more fun as me being on it and not the 25-10.
Oh yeah, definitely. No
I'll
question.
just, well, it's probably the 25-10, but I'll take it as a compliment for myself.
It's all you, buddy. It's all you. I will say it is a lot more fun to talk to somebody else than just myself. So me just ranting about Alex Anthopoulos for 30 minutes. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. All right, guys, we'll see you soon. In the meantime, we'll see you at the ballpark, and go Braves.